City judge Juan Merchan. So, a judge that he feels is corrupt. I think a lot of people feel like Donald Trump's New York City hush money trial judge is corrupt. But yeah, basically, he feels like the judge is corrupt and should be removed from the case entirely. Donald Trump has repeatedly ignored Juan Merchan's gag order ruling, and this has resulted in thousands of dollars in fines. However, he is now warning Trump that escalating this even further may get him into even more trouble. In fact, the problem for Merchan, though, is that the former president seems to be calling his bluff. Trump doesn't believe that the judge is actually going to do this because the judge is now saying that Donald Trump is now out of warnings, meaning that the next time he defies the gag order, it's possible that he's incarcerated and actually thrown in jail. Now, there's a lot of factors to consider when it comes to this situation here. And, while the Democrats are kind of nervous about this possibility, it's actually, and there's a reason why Democrats, you wouldn't think Democrats would be nervous about this, right? But there's a reason why Democrats are nervous about this possibility. And it's likely that Merchan doesn't end up doing anything rash at this time. That is, unless Donald Trump pushes his buttons even further. If you guys are able to see and hear me okay, just drop a quick Y in the comments, guys. And I want to thank y'all so much for hitting the like button. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining me in the live. I see British Gray, Jerome, Valerie. Awesome. All right. So let's hear more about this, shall we?
This is what's happening inside the courtroom right now. Judge Merchan just said it's clear the $1,000 fine is not working. He said going forward, this court will have to consider a jail sentence. He then said, the last thing I want to consider is jail. You are a former president and possibly the next president, end quote. Andy, why don't we just start right there? Because he's going to assess the gag order yet again. The gag order stays, but he'll assess the fine. So I think you're up to 10, 11, maybe 14 grand. I don't know. I lost count. Andy, go ahead.
But Trump got that money, so this is peanuts for him. This is like, finding the average person like $10 a day or $10 a week.
Bill, as I said to you last week, if I were Trump, I basically bring in a check for 10 grand every Monday and just say whatever I want. This is all politics at this point. I don't think the judge, it's easy for me to say because he's not going to put me in custody, but I don't think the judge, because of the politics of this, it would be disastrous politics for the Democrats, for the judge to put former President Trump in jail over this. So he'll continue to fine him. And as long as that's what it is, I think Trump should just pay the fine and otherwise say what he wants to say.
Okay.
He can't incite, he can't defame. And if he says something really stupid, the prosecutors can use that against it. That ought to be enough.
I want to go back to last Friday, late in the afternoon, Brett. Hope Hicks said this. Trump was worried about how this would be viewed at home, meaning the Stormy Daniels matter. Mr. Trump really values Mrs. Trump's opinion. She doesn't weigh in all the time, but when she does, it's valuable. And she also talked about him trying to make sure that his family is proud of his campaign. How much play does that have with the jury? I guess we'll find out when this thing wraps.
Well, Bill, it's a pretty simple calculation. At this point, the prosecution is not really worried about a conviction because everything that they're identifying right there, all that you listed that was stated in front of the jury, really does outline where Trump was, what his mental state, and that's what a crime has to include, a criminal intent. At this point, we have not heard anything that suggests it was a crime for him to not want his family to hear some of these salacious details that were in the media. And it's
like, how in the world is that a crime, right? Now, that was the former assistant U.S. attorney, Andy McCarthy, okay? Not exactly the biggest Trump fan, but he's saying that Trump should have a check for $10,000 ready every Monday and just go ahead and hand it in. And I think there's some validity to that, right? Because he doesn't see this judge putting Donald Trump behind bars. In fact, I don't think anyone sees it going that way, even though there are some left-leaning news outlets and they're warning that it's actually going to happen, right? But now we have legal experts that don't really like Trump, and they're saying that this is atrocious. Like, this is the level of atrocity that we're facing here, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, even the Democratic leaning, left leaning attorneys are seeing it Trump's way, basically. That this judge may be compromised because of his family and what they're getting in exchange for criticizing Donald Trump. Think about this, right? If you have a company that makes money criticizing Donald Trump or promoting Trump's competitors, wouldn't there be some financial gain for finding Trump guilty? You see what I'm saying? Like, clearly conflict of interest from Merchan, from the judge here. Anyway, and I want you guys to notice that that one comment that he made about Donald Trump possibly being president by November, he knows what he's doing, okay? Many analysts feel as if he's kind of saying that just to try to appear like he's trying to be fair and impartial in front of the public, but I think it's real obvious what's happening here, right? Now, there are those who feel like Merchan is just itching to put former President Donald Trump in jail. However, he's kind of afraid of what that might actually do for Trump rather than to Trump. You see, guys, these legal cases, they've been boosting donations to Donald Trump's campaign. And it's not just the big time donors that are opening up their wallets. It's been said that the average Americans, they're looking at all of this injustice and they're saying that, they've had enough, which it really can't be good news for the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, because think about it. This hush money trial, on the first day of the hush money trial, it brought in like almost $2 million in small dollar donations. These are regular everyday Joes making contributions and paying attention to what's happening. All right. So the message from Donald Trump is that all of this is election interference. And a lot of supporters seem to agree with him. Do you guys agree with him? Hit me up in the comments. Now, that's just the first day of the trial, right? Now, just imagine what's going to happen if Judge Juan Merchan puts Donald Trump behind bars, right? I mean, just imagine that image of the former president and what that will do to the president's campaign. Folks are already pissed off and angry at the current injustices. Can you imagine if Donald Trump was put in jail? I mean, you want to talk about protests at the college campuses? We ain't seen nothing yet. Riots in the street, I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, this would probably boost him way beyond President Joe Biden in the polls. I mean, he's already leading Biden by at least a couple of points right now. CNN reported it, and CNN is typically not Donald Trump friendly, if you know what I mean, right? And so this is why Trump is just kind of like, he's like heckling or goading Merchan, you know what I mean? He wants the judge to put him behind bars, period, point blank. Do what you're going to do. I dare you, right? And it's kind of like a challenge at this point where you're just kind of like pushing the justice system in New York City to its limits because, we have to take Merchan for his word. He says that the last warning was the final one, but we're going to see. I think a lot of folks are calling his bluff. Donald Trump is definitely calling his bluff. It's sort of an out also. The judge actually gave himself some leeway because if the judge makes a threat and doesn't carry out on it, then it makes the judge look weak, right? So the judge actually left himself some leeway, sort of like if ever Trump does violate his gag order again, that way he doesn't have to look like he kind of ate his own words, so to speak, right? So Judge Juan Merchan, he said that putting Trump in jail would disrupt the trial. So now the judge wants to blame putting Trump in jail on delaying the trial. That way the judge himself doesn't look weak. He's giving himself an out by saying that. To me, I feel like that means, hey, I'm trying to threaten you to shut your mouth, but with these jail threats, but it's not working. And if it doesn't work, I need an out for myself. So I'll blame it on the fact that I don't want to delay the trial by putting you in jail. So now that way I kind of save face if I'm the judge. I think that's what Merchan's doing here. And he said that it would also pose extraordinary security challenges for the Secret Service, as if Mershon genuinely cares about the Secret Service being inconvenienced, right? I mean, you're already inconveniencing them right now by having this court case being held in Manhattan. This case could have either A, never been held, or B, it could have been held in a more convenient location versus this court. But, he wants to blame it on the challenges that the Secret Service would have to go through. So this is all one big dog and pony show and one big holdup. And he also said that it would complicate the 2024 presidential election. Now, all of these charges, they've already complicated the 2024 presidential election. Like, wait, you're suddenly concerned? No one's buying that, Judge. So when DA Alvin Bragg decided to upgrade a demeanor to a felony, they already knew for a fact that this would affect Donald Trump's campaign this year, right? And the gag order, let's talk about that for a second, right? So Trump, he insists that Mershon putting this gag order on him, it takes away his constitutional right? I mean, like, guys, doesn't putting a gag order on Trump take away his constitutional right? And so a lot of experts, they agree that this is going against Donald Trump's First Amendment right. But Mershon feels as if it's necessary to keep him quiet. Some experts, some critics, they're saying this because Trump is, he's trying to push out his narrative through social media. However, a lot of people, they're saying that he's probably actually telling the truth, and it's something that the judge does not want to get out to the public. And so this is why the judge is slapping him with this gag order. They don't want the truth out there. Period, point blank. But despite this gag order and the threat of going to jail, a lot of legal analysts actually believe that Trump will not stay quiet. I mean, especially as he feels, that all of this stuff is being done on purpose with the help of the Biden administration. And some folks may even argue that it's not just with the help of the Biden administration, it's being coerced by the Biden administration. Then we got Jack O'Donnell. He's the former president and chief operating officer of Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. He recently went on CNN to discuss the situation. And he's saying that the bigger question is whether or not Donald Trump will purposefully violate the order, adding that there's a very good chance that he will just go ahead and test the limits because it's part of Donald Trump's DNA. Let's be honest, right? And he doesn't like to be told what to do, and he just wants to push the limits. But he also said that there's definitely a part of Donald Trump that wants to dare Mershon to put him in jail. Now, Trump on his end he's been a little bit more careful lately. I mean, matter of fact, he hasn't said that he's going to keep quiet, but when he came out of court yesterday, he told reporters that he's now watching every word that he says. So even when he's asked a simple question, so when, Trump then went ahead and said that the Constitution is more important than jail, meaning that Donald Trump is willing to sacrifice himself to show that there is indeed some serious corruption going on in the New York City justice system. Now, and it's like, wow, Kathy Hochul and Mayor Eric, the mayor of New York City, they're literally just standing by letting this happen. But this is literally the culmination of all of these years adding up to this point. Like Biden and his just open border policy. I mean, just unbelievable. Eric Adams not stepping in. Like, they're all just standing by and remaining quiet. Meanwhile, DA Alvin Bragg just continues to ruin New York. AG Letitia James ruining New York. I mean, but Donald Trump, he's a very frank person. And he's not too careful with what he says typically, but he does actually back up most of these statements, right? Some people praise him because unlike other politicians, who make their fortunes after getting into office, Donald Trump he's a lot different. Trump is willing to sacrifice his fortunes that he already has for the well-being and for the sake of the country. Completely different perspective. But that's what that's what a lot of supporters are saying about him. But what do you guys think? Should we actually expect Donald Trump to go to jail anytime soon? Let me see. Let me see if we can get some Y's or some N's in the comments. If you think Donald Trump will go to jail as a result of this trial, this hush money trial with Stormy Daniels, DA Alvin Bragg, type a Y in the comment. If you think Donald Trump will not go to jail because of this trial, type an N or no in the comment real quick, guys. But yeah, so Stormy Daniels, guys, Stormy Daniels is set to take the stand today. Did you guys know that? That's right. Stormy Daniels, adult film star, actress, celeb, testified in the criminal trial for former President Donald Trump in New York. Now, Stormy Daniels, she was there to discuss a payment of $130,000 that she received to remain silent about an alleged affair with Donald Trump before the 2016 presidential election. Now, the case is centering around these accusations that Donald Trump falsified business records in order to hide this hush money payment. Keep your mouth shut about what happened, So these are the allegations, right? Now, again, the case, and again, this was for her to allegedly keep quiet about this affair with Donald Trump before the 2016 presidential election. So they're trying to say, DA Alvin Bragg's trying to say, hey, look, and this is where DA Alvin, this is one of the areas where DA Alvin Bragg went wrong. One of his arguments is that if the news was released that there was an affair between Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels, the presidential elections for 2016 would have gone a different way. But look, dude, you're a freaking city level, you're a city level, state level DA, district attorney, trying to bring charges against a theoretically federal level crime. So you're way outside your jurisdiction. Get back into your backyard, sir. And so that's one way he went wrong here. But the case centers on accusations that Donald Trump falsified business records to hide this payment, right? Donald Trump has denied the affair. He's denied the charges, and he is pleading not guilty to all of this. Now, are you guys buying this? Is Donald Trump guilty or is Donald Trump innocent? Y'all let me know. So Stormy Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, reported that she met Donald Trump in July of 2006. So this is almost 20 years ago. And allegedly, they met at some golf tournament and claimed that they had some encounter in his hotel suite. Now, these are her allegations. Of course, Donald Trump denies all of this. And so, she said that Donald Trump had mentioned the possibility of her appearing on his TV show, Celebrity Apprentice. Do you guys remember that show? Celebrity Apprentice came on. I feel like it came on back like 10 years ago. I actually thought it was pretty good at times. Anyway, in her 2018 interview, she recalled that Donald Trump said that she reminded him of his daughter and praised her as being smart and beautiful. Now, I don't know if Donald Trump really said this. I don't know if Stormy Daniels made this up, trying to make herself look good off of Donald Trump's name. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Stormy Daniels do you think Trump really said that about her, or is she making that up? So the payment to Stormy Daniels actually became publicly controversial back in 2011 when she planned to share her story with a tabloid. But at that point, this is when Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, threatened legal action by stopping the publication. And so this is what they call the catch and kill, right? So it was Michael Cohen's actions that's kind of stepped in and caught and killed the story before it could actually get out. And of course, there was, Michael Cohen threatening some legal action and whatnot. Martin Gerardo, thank you so much, my friend, for the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And so in 2016, As Donald Trump was running for president, she planned to go public. Now, here's the thing. What happens when, candidates run for office? All of a sudden, we see all these commercials, right? Promoting the candidate, but of course, the competitor, the rival. In this case, it was Joe Biden. 2016. Yeah. So 2016, it was actually Hillary, right? So, but whatever the case was, is whenever you have a presidential candidate come out, or even local office, you're going to have the competitor start running all of these negative ads against you, right? So a lot of folks are saying, hey, how do we know that Donald Trump's rival, hell, maybe it was Barack Obama, maybe it was George Soros, maybe it was Hillary Clinton, President Biden, who knows? Maybe one of these guys came to Stormy Daniels and said, hey, we need you to say some stuff that's not going to look so good for Donald Trump, because we need to get him out of the election, or we need to make sure that we win. So if we can take him down and soil his reputation, we can secure our victory. So who knows what really happened there? But in 2016, Donald Trump was running for president, and this conveniently is when she planned to go public. You see what I'm saying? And I think it makes a lot of sense. The rumors, the theory, and some people call it a conspiracy theory, whatever. I don't know what you guys think, but anyway, Michael Cohen went ahead and he arranged a payment and an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, to prevent her from speaking out. And then, of course, we heard from what's his name, David Pecker. I mean, it's like, come on. David Pecker, freaking National Enquirer. Who has any respect for the news that comes out of National Enquirer? Like, this is like the greatest rumor mill business in the world. Anyway, so thank you so much, Robert Hedges, by the way, for the $1.99 super chat. Trump 2024, appreciate you, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. Anyway, so Michael Cohen, he got out there and he arranged the payment and a non-disclosure agreement to prevent her from talking just weeks before the election. Got her to sign this NDA. Now, Stormy Daniels let her tell it. I mean, what was she on? Was it Jimmy Kimmel the other night? She was like, well, yeah, I signed it, which she admitted on live TV, right? But she was like, yeah, I signed it, but if you look at it, that ain't my signature. So in other words, she faked the signature, but she admitted to signing it. So anyway, simple fact of the matter is that NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, they're 100% legal. Okay, so there's no illegality related to the action of having an NDA or signing one, right? Or requesting that someone sign one. These are done all day long. Fortune 500 companies do this on a daily basis. I mean, heck, Fortune 500 companies do it with other Fortune 500 companies just to engage in business with one another, to ensure that business and trade secrets are not divulged, period and point blank, right? So anyway, if this was suddenly illegal, every CEO and every company would all be up in jail. So let's get rid of that, right? But Stormy Daniels later expressed that she accepted the payment out of fear for her safety. Now, she mentioned threats and the high stakes of political conflicts. I don't know if you guys buy that. There's a $130,000 payment involved. That's motivation. That's you're looking for a motive. That's a motive right there. But again, is it true? Is it not true? Donald Trump, and then you had Hope Hicks on the stand, who revealed that this was done in order to keep Melania Trump from finding out about these false allegations. Donald Trump was more concerned. Hope Hicks said that Donald Trump was more concerned about his relationship with Melania Trump than he was concerned about his standing in the presidential elections. So automatically, that in and of itself, which literally torpedoed DA Alvin Bragg's case, because here Bragg is trying to say that this was an attempt to interfere with the election by blocking this information from coming out. Hope Hicks has just automatically just extinguished that theory. So, Bragg failed on that one miserably. But anyway, Stormy Daniels' testimony is a significant moment in the trial right now, as Trump has tried to prevent her from testifying, arguing that her claims could unfairly influence the trial's outcome. But anyway, I mean, this is where we are right now. This is where we are. There's a lot more updates that I'm going to be providing with you guys in the coming hours of the day. So if you guys haven't already, definitely make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'm going to keep bringing you guys these latest updates. I got a lot of people jumping in the comments. Christy Leesman saying that she's a liar. Pablo Martinez from Houston. What's going on? What's going on, Pablo? Lee Laby says, thank you for your factual approach to all of this garbage that is happening in our country. Oh, yeah. And I got a lot more news and information to share with you guys. Actual truth that they tend to keep covered up. Anyway, if you haven't already, do your boy a favor, hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate the support. Thanks so much for sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll see you guys.